Students, in this video, I'll explain briefly. In fact, I revise all the topics which are for the first internals. There are only three topics in this syllabus for the first internals. The first one is curve fitting. So here you have to fit three. You're asked to fit three different curves for the given data. Data will be given like this: values of x and y. You are given n number of values of x and corresponding values of y. N may be 2, n may be 5, n may be 6. Normally, n is some positive integer. Most of it is 5 or 6, most of the times, or 7. So, if you ask to fit a straight line, we take the straight line in the form y equals a plus bx, or you can take ax plus b. Now, using the normal equation, namely sigma y equals na plus b into sigma x, and sigma xy equals a into sigma x plus b into sigma x square. We determine a and b, that is, using this we are getting two normal equations. In order to get that now in this normal equation, you have to get this value sigma y, sigma x, sigma xy, and sigma x square from the table like this: x, y, x square, xy. Now take the values of x here, y here, then take this sum. This is sigma x and this is sigma y, and square the values of x and take that sum here, sigma x square. Now multiply x and y, write the product here and take the sum sigma xy. Now for this you substitute here. This reduces to two simultaneous equations. Solving them, we are getting a and b. Solve them, we are getting a and b, and substitute in this equation to get a straight line. Now, to fit a parabola of the form y equals a plus bx plus cx square, we have to determine three constants a, b, c, and for that we are using the normal equation, namely sigma y equals na plus b into sigma x plus c into sigma x square. Next one, just multiply by x, sigma xy equals a into sigma x plus b into sigma x square plus c into sigma x cube. And next one is sigma x square into y equals a into sigma x square plus b into sigma x cube plus c into sigma x power 4. These summation values we have to find from this table. We prepare like this: x, next column x square, next column x cube, next x to the power of 4, then y, next column xy, then x square y. Now take the entries here, take the sum will give you the respective summations and substitute in the values. N is nothing but number of set of values given, which is normally 5, 6 or 7. Then solve these equations to get a, b, c, and after substitute in this equation to get the parabola. Suppose if you want to find, for us to estimate some value of y for some value of x, then after getting this equation, substitute for x to get y. Okay, the next one is the curve of the form y equals a into x to the power of b. In order to fit this one, we simplify this by taking log y equals Taking log here simplifies to log a plus b into log x. And we take this as some other variable. Normally we take it as b, and this as a, capital A, and this as capital U, or you can take capital Y, capital X, and you are getting this equation v equals a plus b into u to the power of b into u. Next thing is, in order to find this, what you do is we have to prepare a table. First is x, then u equals ln x. You have to be careful here because you have to consider the ln in the calculator, that is log to base c. Then y, ln y, which is nothing but v. Then that is then you have to take the u square and uv. So you have to get the respective summations and use them in this normal equation. Sigma v equals na into b into sigma u, and sigma uv equals a into sigma u plus b into sigma u square. Now substitute in this normal equation the respective summation which you are getting from here, and then solve this equation to get capital A and small b. And once you got this one, find small a using this expression e power a. Then substitute in this equation to get the curve y equals a into x to the power of b. This is how we fit these three curves. Okay. The next topic is discrete probability distribution. Here there are a lot of definitions, and you're not asked to define all those things. Okay. Now the discrete probability distribution is like this: x into p of x. So x is nothing but a discrete variable defined. P of x is probability. Okay, x may take values x1, x2, etc. up to xn. P of probability of x1, probability of x2, probability of xn. Now, so what kind of problems you come across here? So there are two kinds of problems, two types. In one type, you will be given mentioned about the discrete variable x for a random experiment. Okay, and you'll ask to find out the discrete probability distribution. Here you have to find out all the values taken by the variable like x1, x2, etc., xn, and corresponding probabilities, and then you have to find a table like this. Okay, in the next kind of problem, so you will be given a table where p of x values are in terms of k, for example k, 2k, 3k, or in terms of k square, etc., like this, the values of the table. You'll be asked to determine k, find out k. So in that case you have to use this result to find out k, that is this sum must be equal to 1, sigma p of x equals 1. From that we are determining k. Then you have to find out mean, which is nothing but sigma x into p of x. That means after finding k, substitute here, then multiply this with this, this with this, this with this, this with this, and take the sum. Okay, that is mean. Then find expectation of x square, which equals to sigma x square into p of x. That is, you square these values, multiply the corresponding probability values, this square into this, this square into this, this square into this, this square into this, then take the sum. Then sigma square is given by e of x square minus mu square. Mu is already finding here, you substitute here, and e of x square substitute to get variance. This is variance. Suppose you want the standard deviation, take the positive square root of variance to get sigma. And also you may also find out certain probability values over an interval like p of x1 less than x less than x7. Then take all the probability values from p of x1 to p of x7, excluding them, that is in between the values. Okay, if this is included, then you have to consider p of x1 also. If this is included, you have to p of x2 7 also. If these are excluded, then you have to find only p of x2 to x5. Similarly, p of x greater than x6. Now you have to take all the values from p of x7 to the last value. Suppose it is this. So if it is included, then you have to include p of x2 also if this equality symbol is there. Okay, otherwise you start from p of x7. Suppose if it is like this, p of x less than equal to x3. Then starting from the beginning, p of x1, we have to add all the product values up to p of x3, p of x1 plus p of x2 plus p of x3. Suppose if it is not there equality, then take only these two values. Like that, some probability values you must to find out. These are the only two kinds of problem you come across here. Next is binomial distribution. So in a binomial distribution, so it is a particular case of discrete probability distribution, and the distribution is like this. X takes the value from 0 to n, 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. n. So p of x takes the value which is p to the power of q to the power of n, nc1 into p into q to the power of n minus 1, nc2 into p square q to the power of n minus 3, n c n minus 2, this is nc3 into p cube q to the power of n minus 3, etc. p to the power of n. Now, so here p is positive, q is positive, and p plus q equals 1. The standard problem here is finding the mean. There, we have to use this formula. U equals sigma x into p of x, which is nothing but you have to multiply this with this, this with this, this with this, and you have to simplify. Using a result, you have to get that mean, and you have to get it as n into p. Next, you have to find sigma expectation of x square, which is nothing but sigma x square into p of x. So here to make some adjustment here, that is sigma x square minus x plus x, adding and subtracting x, which you have to split into two summation. One is x into x minus 1 into p of x, sigma of that. Next one is sigma of x into p of x. Okay, this is nothing but the mean mu, and you have to find this one exactly. While what are finding here, just you have to multiply by one more factor, which is nothing but x minus 1. X minus 1. First case x is 0, then x, this is minus 1, like that. So then simplify, and using in this formula sigma square equals e of x square minus mu square, get that variance, which you are getting it as npq. This is the standard result. And in the problems, so we have to make use of the PDF, which is this, namely b of x same as b of npx, which equals to ncx into p to the power of x into q to the power of n minus x. Now you have to recognize n from the given problem, p from the given problem. Once p is found out, q can be found out using the relation 1 minus p. Substitute here to get this function, and then giving the value for x, giving the values for x. Okay, you can find the required probabilities. Okay, So in the one kind of problem, you will be given mean and standard deviation or variance. Okay, so then use this relation mu equals n into p, sigma square equals npq. Find out np and q, substitute here to get probability function, and then find the required probability giving the value for x. Okay, for example, so probability that b of no x is b of 0, or p of x greater than 1, or b of x equals 2 or 3, like that. B of x equals 2 plus b of x equals 3, like that. Okay, now in the second kind of problem, you'll be given the, you'll mentioned about trial, and that is repeated. From that you're getting n, and you're given probability of one kind of outcome. We call it as success and we take it as p. Then find out q using the formula 1 minus p. Then substitute here to get that function. Then giving the value for x, you can find out the required probabilities. Okay, next, the other kind of problem, after finding this required probability like b of 1, b of x equals greater than 3, like that, we also find out the number of certain items having this probability. In that case, you have to multiply that given number into the probability is required, and you have to round off that to the nearest integer to get the required value. These are the different kinds of problems you come across here. That is the standard results, which is for finding the mean and standard deviation, and these three kinds of problems. Okay, so go through it. So revise clearly and work out the problems. Okay, with that you can easily manage. So all the best for the first internals.